Ghomeshi no more! Ghomeshi no more! Ghomeshi no more! Ghomeshi no more!
Little bit of deja vu. That was the scene at a courtroom today in Toronto at College Park. The disgraced former CBC radio host Jian Ghomeshi in his court appearance today to face 3 new charges of sexual assault. Ed Prucci is our legal affairs analyst here at Sun News, and Andrea Houston is a political commentator and social activist. Ed, let me start with you on the legal side of this. This is what's being reported now. He had 4 sexual assault charges before, and another charge of overcoming resistance and choking. 3 new complainants have come forward, 3 new charges. Walk us through this a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, this was the big surprise because I, amongst many other legal analysts, was asked what's going to happen today and sort of cavalierly said nothing. I mean, this is the first appearance. He didn't need to be there. I didn't expect that he would be there. And then, of course, he was. And what turned out the reason for that was because he had obviously been made aware that new charges were going to be added on. He needs to actually physically be present at some point, whether that's at the courthouse or ultimately arranged at the police station. But the police would have had to have sort of laid hands, as it were, to lay a new charge against him. And that's what happened today. So now we've got an expansion of the original set of charges. It's not entirely surprising. I mean, we certainly knew that even when the first round of charges came, there had been a whole host of complainants who had spoken out in the media, who had spoken out in various formats, and did not constitute part of that original criminal complaint. So now we have this sort of pile-on mentality, and this may not be the last of it either, because we know that there are still more women out there who have spoken out publicly, sometimes anonymously, but publicly, and they're still not included in these complaints. So the numbers may yet rise.
We have talked about this through social media, through here on television, Andrea. I mean, in the Cosby stuff, it's talking, you know, we've mentioned I believe the women. You know, I remember the hashtag that started trending a couple of nights after this all broke, Lucy Decatur, I believe Lucy. That was, you know, it was powerful. Yeah. I mean, social media has its thing. But a lot of what has unfolded with Ghomeshi has been, you know, 2, 3, 4 years ago. But that doesn't matter. This is a reality in which we're facing now. What has happening with him, I think, has started this broader conversation. It started a whole host, it touched on a whole host of other things. But the fact that he's received 3 more charges today, your response to that, and then I want to touch on a little bit about the CBC in a moment. So your response to 3 new charges.
Yeah, I applaud the police for doing their work and investigating
and this. Expeditiously. It would
exactly.
Seem. Yeah.
No, this is really comforting to especially to women who maybe have been experienced sexual assault or who advocate against, you know, sexual assault and it's very difficult, as we talked about before, for any woman to come forward and report the crime, let alone even talk about the crime to friends and family. So for this many women to do this, it's this incredible bravery from these women. And I think this is one of the big stories that happened in 2014 was this, that more and more women are coming forward to talk about this and to talk about it on social media, whether they go to police or not. And I think we've really turned a corner. And the idea that we take these women seriously, we take their accounts seriously, and I'm seeing less and less people saying, innocent until proven guilty and standing by the men.
I mean, we have the aberration stories, like the Rolling Stone story. That was a complete catastrophe.
That was a mess.
The Duke rape case, another hot mess. But that said, vast majority of women continue to not come forward, and that remains a challenge. I'm going to get a quick response from both of you on this, though. Marie Hennen, you and I have talked about this before, Ed. She's tough as nails, this one. Once those women are put on the witness stand, there will be a publication ban, I assume, once they go to trial, if they go, once that all begins to unfold. His next court date is February 4th. What will happen to those women on the stand?
Well, you know, it's tough to predict, but I want to backtrack a little bit. Innocent until proven guilty still should be the standard, still is the standard. It's not to say that we need to deliberately go out and criticize women who come forward and recognize the fact that coming forward is difficult. But this trial process is there for a reason. So as much trouble as Ghomeshi is in and as much difficulty as he's facing, we should not jump the gun and should not get to that end game and presume that just because there are 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever the number is, that all of those allegations are true. And his lawyer is going to spend an inordinate amount of time making sure that everybody understands that, and she's not going to be deliberately aggressive in terms of, or flippantly aggressive, if I can put it that way, but an aggressive cross-examination or a challenging cross-examination may be necessary if the claim is, look, what you say is either completely untrue, or more likely, I think the allegation is going to be, or the approach is going to be, you're misinterpreting some of the things here, you're changing things around, this is all about consent.
20 seconds we have left.
And that's her role.
Because everybody deserves a rigorous defense under our system, and I think that's extremely important in a civilized society. 20 seconds we have left. CBC continues to have fallout over this. Oh, yes. Your thoughts on the latest scandal with the suspension of two senior members of the CBC team?
Yeah, CBC's been in a rock and a hard place situation, trying to cover the story while also, doing damage control. And I think that they made a really smart move by suspending those particular people, those employees, but at the same time, they haven't done their due diligence well enough.
Okay.
I think there's a lot of people at the top that can also go.
Okay, great discussion.